How will the writer's strike impact the Fallout TV show? It's a topic I'm going to delve into in today's video. So without further ado, follow my social medias, like this video, drop a comment, and let's get into it. So I realized that the Fallout TV show has yet to even have a release date announced, but I still think that it is important to discuss how the writer's strike could potentially impact the Fallout TV show moving down the road. Now, there's some things to note. The writer's strike is complicated, and it's different than the writer's strike that took place when I was in high school in 2008 because of a key player here, and the key difference is streaming. Now, what's interesting about the Fallout TV show in this context is it's going to be aired on Amazon Prime, which is obviously a streaming service slash mega corporation. You know, buy your tube socks and also watch television. That's what we wanted, right? I don't know, but that's the society we got, kids. And I think it's important to note that that is one of the major differences between these two writer strikes. Now, if you are not old enough, or if you are old enough and want to remember to harken back to the memories of the early 2000s writer strike, well, not early 2000s, but almost 20-teens writer strike of yesteryear, where writers went on strike for a decent period of time, and it did have a substantial impact on media as a whole. Writers are incredibly important from start to finish of a television show, and while a lot of shows had banked scripts, some writers on those shows obviously continue on within the show for rewrites and tone meetings and plenty of other things that go on after a show is written that you still need writers for. Go figure. Also, a lot of writers are actors, and some actors who are also writers refuse to cross picket lines, like to act but not write. Obviously, separate guilds and unions and things, but still there's some overlap. A notable example would be a lot of cast members on The Office television show were also writers, and they didn't want to participate. And even notable actors didn't want to participate. Like Steve Carell said he wasn't going to cross that picket line, and they had to put off filming for a while. So this is another important factor in all of this. Now you might be thinking, hey, Nikki, the Fallout TV show is entirely done filming the first season. Why would this matter? So I think to understand that contextually, we kind of have to go into what a writer's strike means for Hollywood as a whole. Now, while this is a huge loss of revenue, obviously it's going to mean a huge loss of revenue for Hollywood, for Los Angeles area. Obviously, the first people hit are late night television. Late night television hosts, half of them are named Jimmy for some reason. They have almost all of them gone off the air indefinitely. Why? Because these men cannot write their own jokes. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Late night television. You guys started as comedians and you can't write your own jokes now? Get with it. So obviously Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, why are they all named Jimmy, have gone dark, right? So they don't have writers to actively write new content every single week, because that's what late night shows are. They're writing jokes about every single little minutia of the week, news, whatever, right? They're off the air. They've halted indefinitely. Remember, though, that The Daily Show back during the old writer's strike did continue going on, because Jon Stewart is capable of writing his own jokes. Shade intended, Jimmys of late night. So you might be thinking, okay, well, late night's not going to have an impact on the Fallout TV show. Late night doesn't really matter. That's just the first step. We're going to see a lot more of reality television, and especially since that fact that reality television has become far more mainstream nowadays, I do think we will see more of it. But remember, a lot of reality television is also scripted. So you might be seeing more of those TLC type shows and a little less of the Real Housewives type shows, in my opinion. I'm just saying. Next up, we have a lot of shows that are already in the bank, which is the category that the Fallout TV show falls into, and the companies are going to have to make the difficult decision to hold on to these shows and kind of parse them out and air them slowly, deciding whether they want to use what they have in the bank or save it, depending on how long this writer's strike could last. And people are saying that this writer's strike could last far longer than the previous one because of the key factor of streaming. This is something that Amazon is going to have to make a decision on. Obviously, Amazon has a number of big television shows that they have either are working on, probably have scripts written for, or already have filmed, like the Fallout TV show, and they're going to have to make the decision of when to air and what to air, and even if they're going to air it. Because if this writer's strike, like the last one, continues on for many multiple months, they might need to hold on to some of these shows to have something to do in, 2024. I forgot what year it was for a moment. Oh, God. Anyway, they're going to have to make that difficult decision to wait. And a lot of people and a lot of news organizations and a lot of other organizations are suggesting that this is probably going to be a big factor in what we see airing that's already in the bank, as it were. So that's a decision for Amazon. I don't know necessarily if Amazon Prime is going to be hurting for money. Remember, this company is owned by Bezos, who is a billionaire and probably doesn't care either way. Maybe he cares. I don't know. But it is going to be a difficult decision for these companies to make. I think it's also interesting to note that these companies knew that this strike was coming, so they rushed a lot of their shows to make sure they had this backlog to rely on. Shady. That's shady, companies. Like, maybe just pay your writers more. Now, to be clear, I am fully on the side of the writers. Hollywood has a discrepancy in how much they pay various people. I'm sure writers, some of them make more than me, but I'm sure they also make less than me. Remember, YouTube is not my income. I am a scientist. But are they going to publish these things? Are they going to publish them? And the question is more of a long-term concern as a short-term. You're going to see what was scheduled in the next couple of weeks, but will you see what was scheduled well down the road? And I think the Fallout TV show was not scheduled to be released. In my opinion, we had nothing official until fall. And I think this writer's strike possibly continuing through the summer, if not longer. The last one lasted many, many months. Could push that proposed fall release date to somewhere into early January, early quarter one or quarter two of 2023. There's another important thing to note that's happening here. See these lovely people on strike just trying to get a, fair wage for doing one of the most, in my opinion, crucial things for shows to actually come out in Hollywood is writing them. They're also spoiling or threatening to spoil major plot lines of major television shows. Now, while I don't think Fallout TV show is a major television show, it is an anticipated television show, and plot lines could potentially also be spoiled due to this strike. Like, we are seeing picket signs threatening the spoilers of Succession, a show which I have tried to get into and failed because I am not a wealthy media conglomerate owner and I don't find it accessible. I normally love HBO shows, but God, I just can't get into it. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to like it. And I resisted it, and then I tried, and I failed. And I'm real sorry about that. Hey, I will say I resisted Breaking Bad, too, and I ended up liking it. I love it. Broke up with my terrible boyfriend because of Breaking Bad. Thanks, Walter White. How anticipated is the Fallout TV show compared to shows like Succession or, even the Game of Thrones show, which is going on filming right now, which is interesting. Here is the next factor I want to discuss. Are people on the Fallout TV show going to be willing to cross the picket line if this continues on? Now, we don't know if the Fallout TV show is even getting a second season, as the first season has not aired yet, but the last writer's strike lasted a considerable amount of time, to the point where people had to wait nearly a year to find out what happened in a cliffhanger in an episode of Lost, another show I have not watched. That's not because I don't think it's good, it's because I am terrified of flying, and I don't want to have that going into an alternate dimension threaten over my head every time I hop on a plane. Are people going to run across the picket lines? Are they even going to be able to start doing the second season? Is that going to push the timeline back even further? Maybe Amazon wants to release the first season and then have the second season real quick right after it so that they can have content and interest maintained. Now, keep in mind, The Last of Us, which filmed in 2020, is not going to get a new season for like 2 years. And now with the writer's strike, it's going to be even longer. Could that be the case for the Fallout TV show? Clearly, the House of the Dragon is still filming regardless, which is interesting to say the least. HBO, can you wait? Just wait till the strike is over. Or just pay better. It's not that hard, okay? Just saying. All of these different guilds are somewhat affiliated together, and the people who are in them, who may be an actor who's in one guild, and then may have a friend who's a writer. Everybody knows each other in Hollywood, or you're like 2 degrees away from meeting, like, I don't know, a really famous celebrity, right? You could have a friend of a friend, and then suddenly it's like, oh, it's Liam Neeson. Weird. Exactly. So everybody in Hollywood is so interconnected. Are they going to want to cross picket lines that impact potentially their friends and family? I'm sure some people will do it because, they got to get that bread, which I don't blame them. I understand needing to live, and especially the fact that I live in California as well, and I understand how freaking expensive it is to live here. I could see potentially some people crossing picket lines, but not everybody's going to want to, especially the people who are already highly paid to begin with and can afford to not work for a little bit, which, God bless. I wish. Yeah, so that's another impact that could potentially happen due to this writer's strike. The biggest thing of concern specifically for the Fallout TV show is the fact that they aren't going to have new content written anytime soon for it, and Amazon's going to have to make these difficult decisions of what to air and when. And because this writer's strike has so much to do with the fact that people don't make residuals off of streaming services, and streaming services pay out less, and just this writer's strike is so rooted in streaming itself and Amazon being a streaming service, I don't see the Fallout show entirely avoiding being affected, but I don't see it being as affected as, say, Jimmy Fallon, who can't get through a joke without laughing because it's probably the first time he heard it because he didn't write the joke to begin with. And he's like, wow, I got good writers. He's not laughing at himself. He's laughing at his writers. Which, dude, like, okay, but read the script beforehand so you won't laugh in the middle of it. I'm sorry, I'm not a big fan of a lot of late night shows, and we'll see which ones continue on. Could mean a lot of different things, and I think it will be interesting to see what way it goes, but do I think the Fallout TV show is getting off scot-free? No, I don't. I don't think any scripted TV show is going to get off scot-free, so I want to know what you think. Did you enjoy my ramble? Let me know in the comments, and let me know when you think the Fallout TV show will air, and have a safe and wonderful day. I love you, Wastelanders. Check ya? Sure, that's a phrase. Check you in the next video.